anybody who didn't go through letters is now also going through that structured literacy training through the IU. All of our learning support teachers, K to 12, are also getting trained this year. And then either in the spring of this year or at the beginning of next year, we will also focus then on our middle school students, or middle school teachers, sorry, grades 6 through 8, who have the certs that require them to have that training. So we are working through that. There are a number of state mandated trainings that we have to go through. Some are yearly, every 3 years, every 5, every 7. Sometimes it's depending on your cert. So we do work through that and make sure that we're doing that. We've made some programmatic changes and that we're seeing some progress in. We adopted iReady last year with the diagnostics. It gives us a pathway for every student to be able to work on some of the skills that they're missing. It teaches a small lesson. They're not just on there playing games. It teaches them a small lesson. They do some practice problems. They scaffold it up so that the kids are going into. So if they're a student who, let's say they're a 6th grader, and in some of their reading areas, maybe they're performing at 5th grade. Well, then it'll give them 5th grade to scaffold those skills up to the 6th grade. But maybe in some other skills, they're already in 7th and 8th grade. Well, then it also addresses that so that we keep pushing them forward and giving them those skills that they need. So iReady has been a huge help for us. It also allows us to, we always do small group in elementary, and we're working on some of that at the middle school as well, especially in 6th grade. But with iReady, we can pull that diagnostic or all of the data that we get from them, and it helps us put them in the small groups. And it also will tell us some of the skill gaps that they have and some of the resources that we need for them. So those are some of the programmatic changes that we have looked at. We're always looking at the data, looking at our students at risk, what interventions we need. We have Title I at the elementary, we have reading specialists, we have reading interventionists, we have a reading interventionist at the middle school. So there are things that we are doing to address some of the skill gaps and to set that foundation really catered to so that kids can be successful.
Dr. Berryman, thank you. We apologize if some of you are having trouble hearing, so panel, if you would. Today when we were testing things out a little bit, we didn't have that fan going on out there. I think if we could turn that fan off, that would help a lot. Or we have someone that might be working on a microphone for us, so apologies for that. Next, I did want to clear something up that Mr. Perez reminded me of, something that was on social media regarding the incident from last Tuesday. This is the last thing I'll say about that, is that staff members were telling, don't you dare tell your parents anything about this or something like that. That is absolutely false. I will say this. When the Littlestown police were dealing with the situation, I guess out in the parking lot and so on, some of the classrooms that had windows in that area, we had, just like on the road when there's an accident or whatever, you have people gawking and things like that. And you can imagine early adolescent kids were pretty interested in what was going on. They were trying to get them back on task. So it wasn't about not sharing anything. It was let's get focused on our lesson for today. Next issue, the state budget. I'm going to say something that I said publicly at a Gettysburg School Board meeting. I believe these people, these politicians in Harrisburg, and frankly in D.C. right now with the federal shutdown, I think they should be waiving their salaries during that entire time. Maybe that would help motivate people a little bit. But I would just say this. According to Mr. Shovaker, our business manager, we are not as reliant on the state subsidies as many other schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank goodness. We are going to be pretty good through Thanksgiving. If it goes much beyond that, we are already investigating options, loan options and things like that. The Department of Ed, our intermediate unit, and other resources are helping us out with potential options should it come to that point. Hopefully that's not going to happen, but who knows? It just seems like compromise is a dirty word these days, I guess. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but that's more of a Harrisburg and a D.C. issue.
Can I just add, if we do have to borrow, doesn't the state reimburse us for any interest we've paid?
My understanding is that is the case, for
So
sure.
If we do end up borrowing, we get the money back and the interest. What?
Can you state what she's saying?
It's 50.
If we do end up borrowing, the state pays us back and the interest we paid, so we don't lose anything.
Yeah. So next, and something else that relates to the federal budget, how is the district preparing for the loss of SNAP benefits for the district families? Well, Littlestown, like Gettysburg, we do have a pretty high population of people that are qualifying for free and reduced lunch. But please know, hopefully everybody knows this, the breakfast meals here are free of charge, free. All right. So I try to get my grandparents, or I'm not my grandparents, my grandchildren. I try to get my grandchildren to take advantage of that. Rarely do they do that because they're picky eaters. But when it's free and being offered there, it would make sense to partake, in my opinion. But I would just say this, at the rec, and again, this is kind of making a sidebar, at the rec park, we have a pretty active farmers market over there. We have about 50 vendors if you've ever been there. It's a pretty robust market. They are tripling the tokens for SNAP this coming Saturday. If you are someone that could benefit from that, or if you know someone who could benefit from that, I would highly recommend sharing that with them.
Wait, now, we also have our backpack program.
Yeah, what's that?
So I was gonna say
Ruth's
that.
Harvest. Ruth's Harvest.
We do have Ruth's Harvest, and when I got this question, I'm like, it's very timely, because we had a principals meeting yesterday, and I brought this up to our principals, asking them to reach out to Ruth's Harvest to see, is there a possibility of getting additional resources for our students. We have a CARES closet at the high school, because we don't have Ruth's Harvest at the high school. So they are working to make sure that is supplied for kids who may need it. I would also encourage too, especially at the secondary level, we don't get as many kids who will submit the form for free and reduced. So please, if they need it, encourage them to do that. We keep it very, very confidential. That information is not shared. Like, that is very limited, even in our district, who has that type of information. So please encourage them to do that. It's on our website. The other thing I would say is, if you know a family is in need, encourage them, or if they won't do it, you can do it on their behalf. Reach out to the school counselor or the school administrator, because we also have resources that we use. Like, we reach out to community aid. Sometimes we can get Walmart gift cards. Like, so there are things that we can do. We always have families that we try to reach out to, like over Thanksgiving, so that they get their Thanksgiving meals, their Christmas meals. So if you know of people, please encourage them to get in touch with the counselor or an administrator. And please go online and fill out the free and reduce. If they don't have the technology, they can come into, I would say, district office or the counseling office, and they'll help them do it.
Thanks, Dr. Berryman. Also, there is a perception that the board only recognizes students of the month that are regular ed students and not students that have an IEP. Dr. Berryman, I think you want to set the record straight on that.
Yeah. So we do have a variety of students, variety of backgrounds that get Student of the Month from elementary through high school. Sometimes they're, not involved in athletics at all, or not involved in the music programs at all. We've had Eagle Scouts come through. We do have had a number of students who have an IEP or a 504 be recognized as Student of the Month. So there are a variety of backgrounds of students who are recommended for Student of the Month.
Thank you. Let's see. Dr. Berryman, one more time also, and I can help out with this one. The question was, why does the district not provide middle school students with a scheduled recess? I was a middle school principal for 15 years at Emory Markle in the Southwestern School District. After lunch was a half-hour segments. If kids finished early, and most of them did, They did have an area where we could play basketball, foursquare, football in the field, some tennis and so on. But we did not have in the morning or the afternoon a scheduled recess at the middle level. I'm not saying other districts don't do that. Dr. Berryman, anything else to add to that?
So I don't really know the history of when we had it and when we didn't have it at the middle school. The only thing I can say right now, the reason they don't have it at the middle school is the only place for the kids to go, like so if they finish lunch early and wanted to go outside, is at the courtyard, which is surrounded by classrooms. So it's really hard to have kids out, well, and there's nowhere to play ball in there because it's like stone and benches and stuff like that. So it's not even really conducive for recess. I know that at the building project, when the middle school and high school are together, there is a courtyard. So there may be some availability with that. But again, we have to look to see what schedules are going to be like and things like that.
Thank you. Is Peter Klein here tonight? I wanted to thank him for this question. What would you, as the acting superintendent, like to see changed about the relationship between the school district and the community? I love that question, and I appreciate that question. I have to be, listen, I'm going to be very honest about this. Board members, if you tell me not to come back on Friday and fire me, I'll be okay with that. But here it is. Last Friday, I looked at several sheets of paper that had invoices relative to our legal counsel that we're paying. It's absolutely criminal in my mind that we're spending so much money to react to right-to-know request or a lawsuit or any other things where we have to consult with our legal counsel, Stump and whatever the last name is. It used to be Stock and Leader. They've been bought out. But that money that could be used for programmatic issues for kids and things here that also might help us to keep taxes under control, we are bleeding money and making the legal pitch people, the lawyers, rich. And it's unacceptable. I don't know how else to say it. It's unacceptable. So whatever the board can do, whatever you can do to minimize that. I realize there are times where we have to consult with legal counsel. I get that. And good boards follow the advice of their legal counsel to stay out of trouble. That's a good thing to do. All right, I get that. But the amount of money for a district this size to allow bleeding and going to people that already have, that are very affluent, all right, it just makes absolutely no sense to me. And I'm sorry if I'm yelling at you, but I'm yelling at you, all right? I'm yelling at you all. I'm yelling at everybody here in this room. That needs to stop somehow, some way. And if I've asked the Lord, let me be a tool to help this group get in a better trajectory towards eliminating that bleeding of finances and resources that could be used to help kids, period. That's what I have to say about that, and I thank Peter Klein for that question. I was hoping he'd be here so I could thank him personally. I'm sorry to get fired up. Dr. Berryman, there was one, and Mrs. Ewing, maybe you want to answer this one. It was a question about why the tennis courts and lights on the tennis court. You want to take that one, or is?
You want to take that? I mean,
You can start.
I just, the only thing, I was part of figuring out what went into the building project and what didn't. And at the time, the tennis courts, were by the road. We had just resurfaced them. They said they had to be removed. And then people said, we want our tennis courts, but instead of just leaving those, they said the parking lot has to go there and the tennis courts removed. We were trying for a grant with the U.S. Tennis Association. We were denied that grant, and that's why the new tennis courts don't have lights, as far as I know. Can we ask our new athletic director to look into other grants to try to get lights? I guess that's our only option. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes. Perfect.
I don't know.
Do you just play tennis in the dark? What's the reasoning for needing?
Well, so
Well, the community can use them too. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, that's why I figured it was.
What was your question?
I was
To
curious.
the
if
students play in the
were
dark.
here's the issue.
But I don't.
In PIAA with schools that have a tennis team, and we do, guys and girls tennis team, with only 4 courts, there are, I believe there's 7 matches. I think it's 4 singles, 3 doubles, or it's 5. It's a 4-3 or a 5-2 format. Here's what happens then. Many times these matches are very close and competitive, and they go pretty long. So what happens then is, as soon as the match is over, the other group comes on and they play. And if it's the second group that comes on, many times because of the time change and in early spring and late fall, the daylight diminishes pretty quickly. So that's where lights would be helpful. What happens then if you don't finish the match and it's not decided, then you have to come back the next day and play again. And sometimes with the weather, those things get scheduled back to back to back and so on.
Oh, the only issue with getting a grant to get lights is we've got pickleball lines now, and the grants don't allow pickleball lines.
Oh, that's real, okay.
So there's an issue.
That's why
Okay.
we have it.
Our board president went AWOL. We'll track him down. But at this point, those were the questions that we had in advance. So now comes the fun part. What we would like you to do, and listen, our board members are here. If you have something that you would like to direct to a certain board member, again, as long as it's something that they are allowed to speak about or whatever, I'm hopeful that they'll just be very authentic and honest and try to answer your questions. So, and if you would just stand up, just say your first name and shout out your question. And then board members, I think that would help as long as that fan's on. It would help if you stood up and projected your response. And I will be the police officer as to whether it's a legal question that we can answer or not. Okay, is that fair enough?
Yeah.
All right. With that, who's going first? Autumn, right?
Yes. I just want to reiterate, I agree that the iReady, sorry, I agree that the iReady definitely has made a big transition in our reading compared to what we had. We had benchmarks, which were not accurate, which is why a lot of my children fell through the cracks. Because looking at those, it wasn't accurate. The iReady is definitely my son's in 7th grade, who's finally in 6th grade reading. They came into 6th grade as a 3rd grade level with an IEP.
She's saying iReady has really helped.
iReady is really helpful. But to reiterate to that question, my question was, my observation for transitioning was the fact that our kids come from 5th grade with no homework.
Yeah.
No homework
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
graded. They get one math worksheet that is not required. This was last school year. Now I know things probably changed this school year.
It is very true.
This was the last couple of years. Both of my kids struggled coming in. So my thing is how do we bridge that gap so that kids come from not having responsibility to coming in to 6th grade and expect to have 7 teachers, keep track of their assignments, and have to juggle everything, carry everything, which they do anyway in the middle school, but the juggle, because that's where the mental health came in. Because we're also stressing them.
Yep.
Autumn, I appreciate your comments there. My grandkids rarely have homework. I always had homework.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Mr. Orndorff, for anybody who didn't have their homework in 6th grade, we lined up in the hallway, and he had a paddle with 3 holes in it. In the 70s,
Yeah,
in
they
the
did.
70s, they did things a little differently in 25 of the 21st century. Thank you.
Well, no, but that's the thing is,
Yeah.
like, we're not giving them anything.
But I would agree with you. I'm a big fan of iReady. I'm a big fan of formative assessments that help teachers adjust their instruction based upon the deficits that their kids have. Next question.
Hello, my name is Jamie. I am a parent and a taxpayer and all that great stuff. Now, thank you that we know what the Sunshine Act is and how it applies to this board, and that the state of Pennsylvania gives us the laws to follow. What can we do to stop the madness? So that's what we need to figure out, and I'm sure you already are. So what is this board doing to stop this? Because it is a drain and it is a waste, and I love your passion. The word is passion. You're passionate.
Yes.
I'm passionate. I haven't been as involved as I should have been all these years. I have 2 amazing kids that came up through this school. It's an amazing school, amazing teachers. Most of you don't get paid. Most of you definitely don't get paid. But you come because you care about this district. You care about this district, and you care about this district. So what can we do to stop the madness? There's got to be a lawyer that can serve the stop the madness, because now we know what this is. Now we know how to behave like adults. So let's behave like adults, because if you don't, you're going to have to start paying these fees back. How about that? Amen. So that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Follow it.
I appreciate the board. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the parents in the community that come, but you're all here for a reason, because you care. But the madness must stop. There you go.
Thank you.
I think I love this woman.
We're married.
So am I, for over 40 years. So it's, yeah. Next.
Wait, does she want us to?
Oh, I'm sorry, Nick.
I agree. I agree with everything that you said. I'm hopeful that members of the community and all board members can come alongside the board and partner with the board in the positive things that the district is trying to do, rather than work against us. So I appreciate your comments.
We're just trying to follow policy strictly and the law strictly, so that
Yeah, but your policies don't follow the law. That's the problem.
You are wrong. And we
I
all
am
know
not.
you're wrong. All
I am
I'm
not.
saying is, you
You don't know the
It's
law.
right on the account of
I
you.
apologize.
We're 100%.
No, it's them, because they're not following the
Anybody
law.
that feels that the woman sitting here is a drain on the account, please raise your hand.
I don't
So is
care.
that what we're doing?
I don't care. Bullying.
You're
They do not follow the law. You do not know what you're talking about. You have not read the lawsuit. Please do not comment on something you don't know.
Time out, time out.
It takes money from the children. That's the
Time
All
out.
I'm asking them to do is follow the law.
So it would be good to enforce a one person at a time,
Thank you.
and that person stands up, and Dr. Moyer, you have the best voice, I think, for projecting. I would ask that you, as much as possible, summarize what that person has said, so that all of us can participate.
Will do, will do.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
Can I speak?
Yeah, were you done with that response?
I think we're done with the response. I really apologize that there's not a better sound. We do have.
The air's off now, so that should help.
That's
Everybody would sit
better.
up here.
Yeah,
That's why we have a
if you're
recording.
able to, if you're able to come closer, we have a bunch of seats towards the front. But I do apologize and about the sound inconvenience that we've been experiencing. Hopefully now, things are a little bit more clear.
Thank you. Next, yes, sir.
All right. My name's Lucas Sigmund, taxpayer and parent, student at the school. Dr. Moyer and I had the
First
pleasure-
responder too, and
Yeah.
I think that is
You don't
today
have
First
to- you don't have to
Responder
go into
Day.
that. You don't need to-
Today's First Responder Day.
So I'm going to address the body as a whole, right? I'm going to address the board, and I'm going to address the citizens, okay? We're all here for a reason. We packed this school, right? Well, this auditorium. There's a lot more people than there usually are at board meetings, all right? I want to remind everybody, because we just had an example of it, and I'm not attacking anybody. The standard that we hold our students to in school. If what just happened would have happened in school, our students would have been in the principal's office and the parents would have been called.
Yep.
Okay? The school has a zero tolerance for bullying. That goes for the board and that goes for the community. Okay? If we want to work together towards a common goal, we can't sit here and attack anybody. Okay? Because as soon as you attack somebody, they go on the defensive and you're not going to get anything done.
Yep.
Okay? In the career that I work in, if I attack somebody, we're done. We're not getting anything done. Okay? So I want to remind the board and I want to remind the community. We're here for a common goal, right? We might not like what they have to say. They might not like what you have to say. But that's okay, right? Because if we all had the same opinion, we'd live in a very boring world and we'd get nothing done. So I want to remind everybody, we're here for a common goal tonight. So if you want to speak, speak. Listen. Speak. Listen. Speak. It's that simple. We can say what we need to say, and we can go home. We don't have to have a beer when we leave here. We don't have to have juice boxes together. But we need to listen, because if we listen to the people, and if the people listen to the board, without being on the defensive, we can all come to a common goal. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next.
So I'm Allie McCall, and my question is just staff accountability, specifically like incidents that happen in the middle school.
Ally, I think I can answer that one.
Yeah, I did submit the question.
Yeah.
So I feel.
I would just say that we had a disciplinary hearing, or what's called a Loudermill hearing. I got a resignation. This person understands that their career is over in education. Maybe if they're in another field, that they can make a comeback. I have encouraged him to not allow this situation to define the rest of his life. He's 65 years old. I'm a big believer in second and third chances, and I've dealt with people, including a family member that struggles with addiction. So I'm hoping they can bounce back, but it won't be here in Littlestown or any other school.
So actually, I'm not talking about.
I'm sorry.
This current incident.
I should be a better listener, is what I should be. Yeah. My bad. I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
Speaking more generally.
It's a general, but I have a very individual situation that I, as a parent, feel was not absolutely addressed.
In that case, you need to go to that person, that principal, and if you don't get satisfaction, you need to come to Dr. Berryman or me.
So with that being said, I have always came to the superintendent.
Oh.
I followed up with emails. I have several emails that were unanswered. From the, and then I went, not from you.
Allie, I can't speak to that. I can only control myself, not what other people have done, but I guarantee you, I'd be happy to meet with you, and we'll see what we can do to help resolve it.
Okay.
I can't promise it's going to be exactly what you would like, but I promise I will listen, meet with you, and I will attempt to make a resolution.
Okay, yeah, because I really feel that the students in the middle school in particular, for some, are held to a higher standard than the teachers. Mm-hmm. And it can't just be like one person, it's a general. And then I also am curious about the reward system in the middle school. Has anybody checked on this or did any research on the reward system in the middle school?
I think what's the name of it?
PBIS.
PBIS, what's that stand for again? Positive behavior. I do know this, Allie. That program is pretty research-based, and it's used by a lot of districts across the Commonwealth. I'm not saying I agree.
In the middle school?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And elementary as well. My granddaughter on Friday is being rewarded through the PBI system as the amazing warrior at James Geddes Elementary School. That's part of their PBI system. All right. I'm hoping that Littlestown is trying to execute it properly and the way it ought to be.
Because it's not really a one-size-fits-all system.
I agree.
I feel like kids that do not have the ability to test well, that's one of the criteria, and then their grades fall behind. Yeah. So therefore, they lose the reward. At the end of the year, they did 3 years in the building and didn't get any type of reward. Like, I don't feel like this is a one-size-fits-all.
Yep. Allie, I would agree with you 100%. I will say with this where I might disagree with you to some degree. From what I've observed here at Littlestown and the other districts that I'm familiar with and being in the classroom a lot, you almost have to make an effort to get less than a C in most of the core content areas. I mean, you basically have to be punching the clock and not doing anything to get a D or an F. Now, I don't know about your particular situation, but usually with PBIS, if you're getting a C or better, the academic component of that is met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a little bit more that comes
I understand.
into that. But,
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next. Whoops. You beat her. No,
you can go.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sherry Anderson. I had a few things to say on Monday, and I was cut off after the first sentence. So I'm going to approach this with a question. I feel and hope all the school board members are part of the board because they value the safety of our children. However, I have questions. If a school board member didn't value the safety of the students outside the school district, do you think she'll be able to support the safety